Dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another wonderful TryHackMe Safezone, since it involves something like enumerating web application with Python, pivoting, privilege escalation. However, before we get started, if you don't mind, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. So now let's switch over to Kali Linux to begin with. First of all, we need to perform the Nmap scanning to identify open ports and services. To save time of this video, I've already done that before, so now we can get out its result. Let me make the font to be bigger so you can see what's going on exactly. Let's scroll up a bit. So as you can see over here, I took the I took the options like scene scan, the version scan, default script scan, followed by the uppercase PN, not to do live testing. In other words, the Nmap always assumes the target machine is online or is live. The last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. Then we can retrieve scanning results whenever, just as what I'm doing now. Although you can notice here, the IP address of the target machine has been changed since I respawned the target machine. Anyhow, this won't affect our demonstration. From the Nmap scanning results, we can tell the target machine has two open ports. The first one, 22. The service is SSH or Secure Shell Service. And also we can get the version information, including its exact version number. Though this version is not updated, I don't think we can find any workable exploit for this particular version. The second open port 80, the service is HTTP, and also we can get its version information, Apache 2. Before we go ahead, I'd like to make notes. Okay, so the first port number 22. The service is SSH, port 80, HTTP, Apache 2. So now we are going to start our enumeration. And I think it's quite clear what we are going to do next. We need to enumerate the web application both manually and automatically. Let's fire up the browser to perform manual enumeration first. We can put the IP address of the target machine into the address bar, HTTP, and let me copy the IP address of the target machine from notebook. We can copy, hit enter. So what's this? Designed by CyberBot. So this is the possible username, right? We can copy and paste over here. Next, I think we can check its source code. I always emphasize the importance of methodology. Okay, so let's scroll down, but we can't find anything else. Although, you know, the HTML tag is red on the line. The page is not developed very properly, but it doesn't matter. Who am I? The title, who am I? Interesting. So next, let me bring back the terminal window to continue our enumeration. For example, we can check to see whether this site has robots file or not. We can copy the IP address from notebook again and robots, but not found. Next, we can launch Nikto to perform automatic enumeration. Press enter. So the version of Nikto, and we can get the version of web middleware Apache 2 although the Nmap has already given us such information and some kinds of header information. You know why, Nicto, we cannot miss this step? Because sometimes Nicto can give us very important information, such as vulnerabilities of web application, and we can directly exploit such vulnerability for our purpose. But I don't think we can find anything useful from Nicto this time. To save time of this video, I'd like to interrupt. Okay, so next, let me launch another very important tool to enumerate directories. And we can choose different commands or utilities, but personally, I prefer Gobuster and HTTP. We can use W option to specify the word list. Sorry, not locking word list. And Gobuster directory, extension option. Hit enter. So the Gobuster can support several functions. Directory enumeration is one of them. If we want to get the full list of such functions, we can use the H option. You can see we can do the directory enumeration or file enumeration, and also can enumerate virtual host, DNS, files, TFTP, even S3, the bucket enumeration mode. But I use Gobuster most when I conduct directory enumeration. And if I want to conduct fuzzing, I will take other choices or utilities like wfuzz, you know, the wfuzz, and fuff. Okay, but anyway, so because Gobuster was developed in Go language and you know, with very good performance. Let's go back to the original tab. Yes, here, and we find something index.html. So both HTML and PHP files exist on the target machine. Let's take a look at those two files, index.html. So what's this? And we have already seen this one. How about the PHP? Oh, we are not redirect. This is a login form, and we can try to use default credentials to log in. Admin and admin submit, but it doesn't work. Oh, please enter valid login details. 2 attempts remaining. So this means there is some sort of protection in place, and which will prevent us from brute forcing. And I can try to use login bypass technique. And anything submit. But I don't think the application is vulnerable to this login bypass. Okay, 1 attempt. So maybe we can try one more. Admin password. Let's submit. Too many failed login attempts. Please log in after 60 seconds. So this is another means of protection. We should keep in mind. Maybe we can, so the index PHP, this is a login page. Okay, now let's go back to the terminal. So register. So we are allowed to register user. News. will be redirect the home page or login page because its status is 302. To save time, I think in the meantime we can register new user. Okay, let's do it now. So the register PGP. And sign up, we can put username, JSON, and I think we can use, I'm not sure whether this password field requires complexity. Maybe I can use, okay, submit. Now, we are not giving any response. I don't know whether our registration is successful or not. Let me go back to the login page we have already found earlier, index, and we can log in with JSON. The password we have already set when we created this user. Let's submit. It works. So very simple application. At the top we can find 5 hyperlinks. Of course, I'm not going to click Knockout button. So how about the home? And also I think we can check its source. Sometimes source code can reveal something sensitive. Let's scroll down. Nothing important here. Let me close up. And how about the news? I have something to tell you. It's about LFI or its RCE or something else. So I think this is the message left by author. I think we can copy and paste over here. Possibly LFI or local file inclusion exists on this site, and we can check its source code. Scroll down, nothing else, and let's click contact. Not found. Interesting. But also we need to check its source code and go back and click details. Find out who you are. You can't access this feature. This means possibly an administrator is allowed to access this feature. We can copy. So restrict, okay. And as usual, we need to check its source code. Let's scroll down. At the bottom, we can see there is one comment. Try to use page as get parameter. Beautiful. So I think following standard methodology is essential for pen testing. We can paste it in here. So how about we pass the parameter page and we can try to access password. Hit enter. But we'll still get the error. You can't access this feature. But very important discovery so far. Okay, so let's go back to terminal window to see what else Gobuster has discovered. Log out because my pen testing is over internet, which is a bit slow to some extent. So I think I'd like to pause my recording. See you later. I'm back. As you can see over here, Gobuster has discovered another file. Note, of course, without any hesitation, we need to access this file. We can, oh, not why, maybe copy IP address of the target machine. Okay, node.txt, hit enter. So message from admin, I can't remember my password always. That's why I have saved it in this file. Maybe we can copy it and paste it in here. In Linux, the home directory will be the home, or will be the directory of all normal users besides root. So from this, possibly this is username, although it's a bit weird, right? So how about we try to access this file with LFI, possible LFI. Maybe we can copy and access this one. Hit enter. But so how about we use another way to access? Use this symbol, file, and hit enter. We can check its source code. Files. Interesting. The home's files, pass, maybe text. So what can we do next? It's saying his password is saved in this file. But how can we access this file? Very, very interesting, right? Let me copy and use the Q. Hit enter. So how can we access this file? Note. How to do. So we cannot access this file with this address. How about this way? Home files. I think we have really demonstrated this in other videos. So node.txt not found. Oh, sorry. Should be pass. Pass. And we got something back. So admin password hint admin and two underscores at the mean, so means two numbers are there. This hint is enough, I think. So I think now is quite clear what we are going to do next. We need to make brute forcing. But the difficulty we are facing is that the application has some sort of protection in place. After we try 3 attempts, we must wait 1 minute to go on. I think it's okay because here the limited possibilities with this combinations of 2 positions, we can take advantage of Python to automate this process. Okay, this is what I'm going to do next. How to do? Let me launch PyCharm editor. Oh, it's not. Okay, PyCharm. I should put into the pass variable. PyCharm. Okay, and so now, sorry, not this one. And we can create a new Python file. We can new Python file, and we can call it like login brute force. Okay. And how to do? Let me show you very effective way. How to do? Although I have already demonstrated this before, but this is very useful technique. So how to do? Let me log out and try to, because we have know that the username for administrator is admin, and also I'd like to open developer tool and navigate to network tab, and we can put anything, submit, and now we can copy value as Q command. Next, we can go to this website to convert it. Okay, we can convert it, and then there is, I think the site has some problem. Here should be dictionary. Anyhow, we can manually modify it. Okay, we can copy the clipboard and go back to PyCharm editor, paste in here. So this is our starting point, and we need to import additional modules, for example, like sys module, and import a time module. And we need to define function like login, username, password. Okay, and column, and we can indent all these lines. And I think a cookie will not be used. We can delete it, no problem. And then we can, of course, here in the post method, we can delete it. Cookie parameter as well. So here, I think we need to modify it to dictionary. Oh, sorry. So no. Oh, why? What's wrong? My bad. So bad. Import sys modules, import a time module, and remove this cookie. And then I think here, data, we can convert it to a dictionary username, should be username. Oh, I think we can define the function. Define login username to parameter password and column. We can indent all these lines, and then here the key is username password and submit. I think that's all. So now we can simply return its text. Then we can have a nested for loop for I in range, because there are two positions, range. So the password should be, we can use formatted string at the mean, and at the mean. So here should be I and J. Okay. Next we can call the function. So response should be login, and username is admin, and password. That's all. And if this one we can copy. Also, we need to calculate the number or times or count of attempts. So we need to define another variable like count. For now is 0, because after we have three attempts, we must stop for 1 minute. Okay. So now I think login, if we can copy in response, or maybe we can try another one at the mean, submit. And next at the main, we can try submit at the main. So another possible response from the server is this one. We can copy and paste in here in response. We can print, for example, password, incorrect. Okay. And else print password found. Okay. If found password, we do not need to go on, right? We can exit from the program. Otherwise, I think account should be, we need to add one to existing count. Oh, I think we can if count larger than 2, and then we can, of course, we need to sleep. Time sleep for a second or 60 seconds. We can print some message like has to wait. Okay. And then we can print now go on and count should be resume to 0, right? Here we can call it so if the count is 0 the first time, no, not this should be put around here, right? If the count is 3, and then we need to wait 1 minute. Count is 0. I think we can test our program or run our program. We can save and run our program. Python login. So password incorrect. So has to wait 1 minute or 60 seconds to continue. Not complicated code, right? I hope no mistake was made in our program. If a count is larger than 2, print. Has to wait, right? So I need to make a double check. Username. Okay, it's continuing. It's continuing. Of course, this will take a bit of while. I'd like to see you later. I'm back. As you can see here, we successfully found the correct password. So now we can copy and paste in here. So then we can log in with this password to the application. The username is admin and password is this one. Let's submit it. Not now. Beautiful. So we successfully log in to the application and nothing special here. However, earlier we have already discovered there is possible local file inclusion here. So next, I think we can pass the parameter page. For example, I want to access password file, nothing back. However, if we check its source code, as you can see, we successfully retrieved the content of password file. Let me copy and to use command line to test this vulnerability. And we can queue. Of course, we need to use the single quotes. Also, we need to specify the cookie. And so the cookie, we can get it from storage. We can copy. This is the key. And next is its value. So now we can copy this key value pair and paste it in here. Is unknown cookies. So maybe this should be cookies, right? What's going on here? Oh, so how to specify cookie? The cookie should be around here. Cookie. I think it's correct. So why I got this error? Maybe we do not need to use this equal. Hit enter. Oh, not the cookies, just the cookie. And as before, we successfully accessed the content of a password file, and we can find 2 normal users. So next, we need to exploit this local file inclusion vulnerability, right? The files. Okay, let me show you the methodology, and we can try to access the private key on SSH private key. So nothing returned. So how about another user? Files. Very weird username. Okay. So next we can try to access the log file. Authentication log file. So how about Apache log? Apache to access log. We can access the log file of Apache. So next we should poison this access log. How to do? Let me show you my way. We can take advantage of Bugbounty. Although we can use command line, but I think Bugbounty is better, I think, because I want to manipulate the request header and put this manipulated header into the access log. We can turn on the intercept option, and then we can refresh this page, and then we can send this request to repeater module, and I want to change the user, and I think we can change, remove it, PGP one-liner web shell system get cmd. Okay, let me check this one-liner shell. I think it's correct. Apply changes and send. And then I think we can, maybe we can turn off intercept option. And next, I want to access log file Apache to access log and cmd ID. Let's enter. Let me check its source code, and we can search www data. Yes, the command ID has been executed as we expected. So next, our job is to run reversal command to get initial foothold on the target machine. You can go to the pentest monkey website and also this one to run different commands. When I did the machine the first time, I tried several commands, but most of them failed except Python. So to save time, because this video has been going on a bit long time, I'd like to directly show you the correct way. We can run the command. Of course, we can check to see whether the Python is, for example, Python 3 is available. And we can check its source code and Python 3. Oh, sorry, my mistake. var log Apache access log command. We can run Python 3. It's done, and then we can check its source code. Python 3, indeed, Python 3 is there on the target machine. So next, I'm going to copy this command and paste in here. So there should be Python 3, and I'd like to copy the IP address of Linux and to replace this attacking IP. And also I'd like to change the port number to 555. You can use any port number, we can copy, but I think we need to set the listener on the Linux first, waiting for collection from the target machine. And let me change the command to reversal command with Python 3. Hit enter. Let's go back to terminal window. Yes, beautiful. We have already got a collection from the target machine. And we can spawn a beta shell or interactive shell by Python. Python 3 pty module. And also I'd like to define the terminal environment variable. So then we can clear screen whenever to get a big space on the window. So now we can go to home directory to gather information to make lateral movement, right? Files. We can find this. So what's this? So this is the text file, nothing useful. And above this file, we found another file with very weird file name. We can copy, and we can get out this file. So this is the hash password. We can copy. Of course, you can take another way to make lateral movement, because this one sudo, we can use the find command to make lateral movement, but I prefer this way. I think we can try to crack the password first. If we cannot crack it within a reasonable period of time, and then we can use find command to make lateral movement. Okay, I've already copied, and then we can. So then maybe we need to open new tab. We can echo, save it to a file. Then we can launch John the Ripper to crack it, because I have already cracked before. So to display the cached password, we can use the show option. And the password is very, very simple. And now we can SSH to the target machine. and like to copy the IP address of the target machine from notebook, and then of course continue. Magic. Beautiful, it does work. We are in the target machine, and this shell is more stable, and now we can run sudo. Oh, we can run the id command and can run as Yash, another user, but this command cannot help us to make any lateral movement. Okay, and also I'd like to get out the size is 0, so nothing useful. So now Yash, permission denied. So it's time to run linear shell script to conduct automatic enumeration. And I've already got this script ready. Next, we need to upload this script to the target machine. In order to do that, we need to set up web server on the Linux. So then we can use wget and followed by the IP address of Linux. And limpiers. So next, we need to make it executable. Then we can run it, to see what we can get from limpiers shell script. When we attempt to make lateral movement or privilege escalation, in most circumstances, we should rely on this wonderful script to do automatic enumeration, because it can gather information, very rich information, from a variety of aspects, such as the SUID, boundaries, cron job, capabilities, sensitive files, processes, very, very useful. So the container and the process information. Also, sometimes we need to upload another utility PSPY to make more comprehensive enumeration of processes, even those belong to root user. So SUID bit, but so far not so good. I failed to support any vector which is always highlighted in red and yellow color. So usernames information. So active ports 53, 22. So my SQL server. But also there is another port 8000. Interesting. Maybe we need to have a look at this port number. For example, we can use the Q because this is only accessible locally. Failed. Indeed, this is running. This port number is running web application. But to find vulnerabilities of the new or discovered application, web application, we need to utilize one of important technique, which is pivoting. And to do such pivoting, we can utilize port forwarding of SSH. Okay, let me show you what I mean. And we can open new tab. So it's SH. Let me autocomplete this command. So here we can specify the local port number on the Kali Linux. You can use any free open port number, free or open port. Sorry, not open, free port on the Kali Linux. And then the remote machine. In this case is the the target machine itself, and the port number 8000. So next we can copy the IP address of the target machine. Press enter. Magic. Okay, it's done. So now we can open new tab to see whether such port forwarding has been set up. Okay. Yes, indeed. So now we can access this application locally. Hit enter, and forbidden. Okay, we can access robots file not found. So it's time to use Gobuster to perform directory enumeration. So how to do? We can use Gobuster, and let me autocomplete this command because I have already demonstrated this command so many times. So the license, so the IP address, I think it's okay. Login. We found this new page. Login. HTML. And we can try to log in with the password we have already found or cracked at the mean 44 at the mean. Login. You have left 2 attempts. So this credential doesn't work. Also, there is some sort of protection in place which prevents us from brute forcing. So is it necessary to use Python to conduct such enumeration? But so far we do not know its username yet. Let's go back. We let it finish. So the license, login, HTTP, and also as before, we need to check its source code. So nothing here. And also I think we can try to use login bypass technique. Okay, anything? Login. You have left 1 attempt. So how about admin password? Login. You have left 0 attempt. So let me. Oh, here there is 1 JavaScript code. Let me open this link in new tab. So the attempt 3. But I think this can be bypassed, right? Because this script or this validation is done on the client side. Login successfully. If username, user, and password. Oh, we find another file, pentest.php. So even we do not need to make. So how about we access this file directly? We can copy. Hit enter. We need to refresh, but I think I like to close the bubble suite temporarily and then refresh and test. cannot make collection. So why? There is some problem, right? Refresh. Oh, I think the target machine has some kinds of problem. Okay, I need to fix this issue first. This issue has not to do with the pen testing process itself. All right, I'm back, but I respawned the target machine. So this time I got, my target machine has got a different IP address. Anyhow, now we can access this, discovered endpoint or address. We can copy and access this file. And here we can submit a query, send the message for another user. For example, we can send hello, submit a query, hello, and the message itself is displayed. Actually, of course, I think I must admit this is very difficult to support. This vulnerability. As a matter of fact, this field exists command injection. For example, we can, although there is some kind of filters in place, and for example, we can run the Q command. We can try to, just now our web server on the Linux is running. So now we can try to access our web server. Submit. As you can see, we successfully got the access. So this means the command Q has been executed, or the many commands have been filtered, have been jobbed by the application. And I tried many ways to run reverse command, but none of them can work except this one. So let me show you. We can take it this way. We can set up, and we can set up the payload with MSF venom, and we can hit enter. Next, we can upload this payload, and we need to make it executable. Maybe we can make it the full 777 shell, and then I think we can set up another listener. Okay, and here we can run this payload temp shell and submit. If we go back, as you can see, we successfully got a collection from the target machine. As at this point, we have already made large movement to another user. Beautiful. Okay, so next, I think we can go to home directory and to grab the user flag. So next, we can run sudo. We can run command or this Python script without password of root. So we can run but of course at this moment we do not have any permission to this Python script. bkpy, right? Permission denied. So maybe it's okay. We can run it to see what it's about. Oh, enter file name. Anything? Password and destination, for example, like temp. Password. We do not have any password. For example, 123. it down. So now let's go back to the temp directory. Even the file has been created, has been copied. The content is exactly the same as password file. So very weird. So how about we run, for example, we can run, I think we can try to run sudo. For example, we can try to run maybe this script is itself, right? And temp, for example, backup py 1 2 3, and we can go to temp directory. Very weird. We have already got this Python script. So here SSH pass or input into the file name, input the destination and the password. But although here this script requires user to input password, the password itself is not used. So here run, this line is come out. SSH pass p. Interesting. So maybe we can try to get the root flag. We can copy. For example, sudo yash. Why I have to provide the password for yash? Just now we do not need to, right? Sudo. Oh, sorry, sudo, and we can copy this line. And we can try to retrieve the root flag temp 1 2 3 4. It doesn't matter. Go to. So now we can get out the root flag. A bit weird. Okay, I think so. I think it's pretty much it. I'd like to see you next. Bye. Have a nice day, please.